Welcome, everybody, back to My Hero Analysis Beyond the MHA Rewatch Show. I am Tom DeGrazia, and joined, as always, by Steph Bear, who's on this side, not on this side. This side. How are you doing, Steph?
I'm doing all right. Another Saturday in the books, right?
It is the last and final Saturday before Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. It's funny, I had to run out and do some errands today, and I was expecting it to be a nightmare. But I guess of all of the things that, of anything that you can find that's good about a pandemic, which there's nothing really, but if there is a small glimmer of it, it is that you can go to a place in the middle of like this pandemic, like a Target, and it's not going to be a complete madhouse outside of normal pandemic madhouse. So. Yeah. It wasn't bad. I'm used to having to fight for parking and all this crazy stuff, but it was actually not too bad. But yeah, so we have it's all action tonight, right? That's pretty much it. I watched all 3 episodes earlier today, and it kicks off as we were discussing before we went live. It's a great first one to start with, and it kind of rolls right in, and it'll roll into next week too. But it's good. It's good. Hello, James and Dan and Mariana. How is everybody this evening? Hopefully everybody's doing good. Winding down, getting ready for the actual enjoyment of holidays, and all the craziness is done. Or if you celebrated Hanukkah, you had a great Hanukkah, because I believe that ended yesterday. I think. I don't know. I should know, but
I feel like I should know too, but I don't.
Yeah. All right, but let's dive into the first episode tonight.
Yeah. And I mean, I love that the title screens in the first 2 episodes of this time came a little bit later too, especially this one. So this episode, basically, we start off with everybody's getting attacked, and Midoriya realizes that Koto's not down there with everybody. And so this is kind of going into flashback about him and his story with his parents and everything that's going on before a figure basically appears out from behind him and attacks him.
And it's in the most, I would say anime, but I guess it's any kind of comic books, anime, whatever, in the most ridiculous coincidental fashion. It happens to be someone that ties into his own, Kota's very young, but it's someone who happens to tie into his own history, which is kind of crazy. But I like that we jump from that instantly to this.
Yeah, well, it's there's multiple things happening in these 3 episodes, multiple times. And I think they replayed this Eraserhead's journey throughout the fights. I think in each episode, different stages.
Yeah.
And so this is just back where they're mad they didn't get to go to the test of courage. They have to go study. And the dialogue on this one was hilarious because they're just talking about snacks they wanted to treat for being good during training. And they talked about salty licorice, I think it is. And Aizawa's I like that. And then they're talking about mint being kind of good, and they all like mint.
Yeah. He used mint as a derogatory thing. And but I like mint. And I was I like mint too.
Yeah. Salty licorice, no.
Yeah, no. None of that, thanks.
And I do agree at this part where he's just, Menoa seems like he's saying the exact same things over and over and over every single time they see him. And Kurishima's he says this every single time we see him. And they're I don't know what his mental state is at this time.
I love it because, he's teasing them for having, I think they said 5 kids failed. And it's isn't it funny that class 1B only had 1 and yet it's him? Yeah. It's ridiculous. He's laughing creepily the whole time. Yeah, he's insane.
This part this took me a while to catch, is the actual quirk of Mandalay being able to talk to them and having one-way telepathy was
I don't know if it's just me seeing this, but Steph, I believe, is frozen. Oh wait.
Is it?
She's back.
Am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay. Sorry.
No, it's fine. I don't know. It might have just been me, which would have been really funny if it's me going what's going on? And you're absolutely fine. Yeah, you're saying how this is, I forget which of the
Mandalay, I believe, is her one-way telepathy.
Which is, I mean, I forget who said it too. They're it's not that much of a helpful thing because you can't talk back to her during this.
Yeah. I think it's Kirishima.
Yeah, I think it is Kirishima.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But Aizawa's eyes in this is hilarious too for this frozen stance. So when he gets tears, it's like
it's a cool effect too, because when she's telepathically reaching out over the forest, you see it like spread over all the trees to kind of get to like all the kids and everything like that.
I think it's like a bat almost, like it's like a supersonic thing that she just like
sonar.
lets out. Yeah.
Both Dan and Mariana in the chat are talking about how they don't see how Monoma could possibly ever be a hero. Maybe if he's a hero alongside Kendo, because there are times when I'm like, I don't see how Bakugo could be a hero either, because he's a little abrasive, but he's good at what he does. He doesn't have that personality that I think he's like Endeavor. I think that's probably the best case scenario, right? Like we've seen kids who like really love Endeavor because he's cold to people, and when he starts being like kind, they're like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, you're not the Endeavor that I love.
But I think like Aizawa is not like everybody's favorite hero, but he's out doing a lot of good work too. And
I think a lot of people don't know that he's even out there. Like he's not a public facing. I think we learned that in like the first episode he shows up. Like most of the kids don't even know who he is. Midori only knew who he was when he actually used his quirk, because I don't think anyone's seen him. He kind of like keeps the shadows, and it kind of plays with his role a little bit. And it's funny how like being a teacher now, he has to be very front facing. Like there will be times that he's even on camera.
Yeah.
In his man bun. It's funny. He's an anti-hero. Don't diss my boo. Wait, who's your boo? Is it an Endeavor? Or
I think it's Endeavor.
Okay. I love it. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I love Endeavor, especially everything in the manga that's been happening from what we've seen till now. He's great. And I'll leave it there.
This whole like sequence comes up again. I didn't realize that when I froze this, but Eraser gets that alert from Mandalay, and then he like takes off outside, tells Vlad to watch those kids, and then he goes straight into basically Dobby's hands for him to blow him up. So
it's cool. We get like every time they did this thing where they like jump back and then replay the scene, the dialogue is slightly different. It's like they inform a little bit more. Like they give you like, oh, we cut out a sentence last time. Here it is this time with like a little bit extra. So I think we get like an extra line in this exchange. But yeah, there's I don't know if we have it caught. There's when he goes to blow him up or burn him, really, he's just trying to burn him. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, but how did he get away from that? And Aizawa just like pulls himself up to the top of
it's in the next episode. Like it's like slow progression of like
where okay. It's not in this episode.
Yeah, that's why I was like, oh, okay, it works.
Yeah, they did a lot of time jumping. It was like a lot of like you're watching something like 10 minutes earlier, 5 minutes earlier. Yeah. And it's not even like big time jumps. It's like just a couple of minutes, but it's kind of crazy how they staggered it all out. Mariano was talking about Bakugo, not Endeavor.
Yes, definitely a boo. This guy, I can never get his name right. I wanted to call him like Spinner. I can't even remember it. Like Spinner. Yeah, I forgot how annoying he is. Like, I
don't find him annoying at all. You find him annoying?
I think he's like Midoriya, but for villains. He's just like a super like Stain fanboy, and he's just like all over it.
Yeah, he loves Stain. He dresses like Stain. I know. He's tied like, I don't know, 40, 50, 100 swords together with a belt, which is ridiculous. I don't even know. I'm going to be completely honest. Like, and I've read this series. I've watched this series a couple times. I have no idea what his quirk is.
No. And I think they even say that later. They're like, you never even got to use your quirk. We have no idea what you do.
I really wonder what it is. And I mean, maybe we've seen it and I just don't recall it. But I'm hard pressed to know what it is. We know what Big Sis Mag's power is behind them.
Super cool.
Yeah, which is such a crazy character. I like Big Sis Mag because like
I love her hand motion. She's like Gunhead, where she like that's like a little like, oh my god, why did you do that?
Yep. And yeah, she's going toe to toe against Tiger, who has like the playa body or whatever, which is kind of like super strength, Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. reminds me. It's like Stretch Armstrong is a bad word for it, but that's what it reminds me
It
of.
is a bad word for it, but I get it.
Oh, and I like that they call Ida out during this time. They're like, oh, you have glasses. You must be that random kid who like stopped staying.
Yeah, they did. They call him out a couple times just because of his glasses. That's it. Like
Yeah.
he was wearing contacts that day, which I don't think we see him wear contacts ever. But if he wore them, he wouldn't have been singled out.
They would never have known.
His ridiculous sword.
Yeah, I did catch it.
I forget that I could put the quotes up over the screen, so I'm going to make sure I do that a little bit more.
There's a bunch of good talk going on right now.
Yeah. We'll move on from the Ninja Turtle.
Yes. I do like Mandalay's, when she fights him, she has like a couple one-liners where she catches him off guard. I think it's a little bit later on, but it surprised me because her quirk is telepathy. Like, she doesn't really have something that's action-y, and so it's interesting how she uses it.
I'm sorry. I just saw this. But this, I was like... We have to put that up there for just like a little bit.
I saw that earlier. I was like, very well said.
But yeah, he has the cake, but he's not Boo material. No, he is most certainly not Boo material. We've seen what happens to Boo.
We don't want a part of that.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to Mandalay, yeah, she really catches Spinner off guard in a like a resplendent way. Mm-hmm. I love it. And like it'll come up. Yeah, the way how he reacts to it too is really great. Yeah. I think he even calls her like a harlot.
Yeah. I like how she tells the class rep to get in charge and to run off, and then Midoriya just automatically, nope, not going to listen right now.
But it's, for good reason. No one else knows where Coda is. Midoriya does because he's a creep and followed him around last episode.
Yeah. But I think Mandalay's freaking out in her own mind because she doesn't know where he is, and she never even thought. So she's just basically telepathically yelling at him like, Coda, please come back. I don't know where you're at.
Yep. And little does anyone know what Coda's going through at this exact moment.
Yeah. Scary. Yeah. Oh, then we kind of get to go with the Class B characters. And I really liked being able to see them interact during this. Yep. It was really cool to see their class and everything else that was going on.
Though, I will say, I understand why Tetsu acted the way how he did. But I feel like until the telepathic go ahead, it's okay to fight thing kind of goes through, his whole like... I know why there's such a big gap between us and 1A, and I feel like I have to do something kind of stuff. I'm like, yeah, but at the same time, like, I don't know, maybe now's not the time. Like, he says it in a weird way where he just, he wants to be gutsy. He's very much a Karishma, like, in a lot of ways. But I don't know. I feel like it kind of comes across as like, yeah, sometimes you also got to know when not to do it. And they give him the okay, and it's totally fine.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, he hasn't gone through like a Hosu incident and all that stuff where they get beaten down for not knowing their place and running off. I mean, Class A has done a lot of stuff they shouldn't have done either because they wanted to. So I think it's just his kind of final chance to be like, I want to do something too. I'm gonna be not as crazy as Menema and talk about it every 5 minutes, but I want to do something. I want to save somebody. And so I can kind of see it. You're right. He probably shouldn't have preached about it so much, but
yeah, I think that's what it was. It wasn't like, it wasn't the fact that he felt the need to stand up for himself kind of thing. It was the fact that he was going out at it because it was like, well, Class A got to do this. Why, we should too, so we could actually be on the same playing field. It was like just a weird way of kind of going about it. And yeah, he was very brash about talking about it. Mm-hmm. Where the other kids didn't have a choice the first time they went up against the villains. The villains cornered them at the USJ, and they they had to fight back, otherwise they would have died. This is one where like he could easily escape. He has a gas mask on. He can get the hell out of Dodge, but instead he makes it a conscious effort to turn around. And you brought up a very good point. He hasn't been put in the situation where he's gone up against a villain and realized what it is to go up against a villain, mm-hmm. right? And like, his life is on the line. Everybody else around him's life is on the line, and maybe he'll encounter that in this episode or the next episode when it happens.
I do like that most of them are carrying other people around this entire time, running at full speed. So
I like that too.
She's so awesome. She's just like, gas masks that we need. Here's 50 of them. Please pass them out.
Yep. I like that they use her for this. It's the perfect
Yeah.
But yeah, of course. If Momo's out there, everybody should be good because you could just pop out some of those gas masks.
Mm-hmm.
Although, a lot of the kids are very fatigued, so there could have been a situation where she didn't have enough lipids to make these masks.
Mm-hmm. This is his monologue that you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
where they got to turn their crises into chances. And I think he's only thinking about this incident and then Bakugo getting attacked by the other thing. They don't know about staying.
No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, they know that they were there, but he doesn't know that they were the ones that stopped him. Obviously, because everybody thinks Endeavor stopped him.
Mm-hmm.
But he still sees it as like a chance to level up in terms of being competent on the field, even if you're just a bystander in those situations.
And then he basically tells her not to stop he's gonna go run off and punch things. That's what his action plan is.
And it's funny, we saw Kendo being like, I don't hate this part of you. Like maybe a little crush kind of happening there.
Like the face. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Imposing.
Yeah. This guy is like one of the best villains for the whole series. Like he's super crazy, well thought out.
He's insane, and like his reasoning behind what he does, it's crazy, but it makes complete sense. He just wants to do what he wants to do, and he's like, the heroes get to do what they want to do because they want to be heroes, so why can't I do what I want to do?
Yep.
Just so happens what I want to do is murder you all, but still I just want to be me. And
he doesn't like it when people say they're going to do something and then they don't end up doing it, which is apparently is dying in his book because they said they were going to stop him.
This reveal though was kind of like heartbreaking in a way.
Oh, just the way he says mommy and daddy back to Kota as he's about ready to like punch him too. I was like, oh my god.
Yep.
Awful.
Yeah, I wonder, Dan says that he's an underused villain for sure. I wonder if we'll see him pop up in Vigilantes, the manga, because we see like a lot of the side villains kind of pop up in there, like Rappa, who we'll meet next season on the show, is like currently going through Vigilante. We're getting like a big Rappa section. So it's cool that we get to kind of flesh out some of these villains, and he would be a cool one to flesh out. Because he's ridiculously strong.
Yeah.
Ridiculously strong.
He's got a cool power. Like, just the way it, like, And
the way how he can kind of control it to, like, even make... There's a point in this battle that he'll make a shield out of his muscle, which is kind of gross.
Yeah. There's, like, some stills I took over, like, Midoriya's arm is, like, kind of,
gross.
Yeah. But it's attached to him, so it's even worse. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's like tied up under the muscle on his arm.
Yeah.
I wonder if it hurts to touch, because you'd think it'd be like exposed nerves. I guess muscles don't have nerve endings in them, or do they?
I don't think so. I think they're heart. I'd look that up. I'm not a biologist.
Yeah, neither am I.
Rappa the Rappa.
I saw that.
I like how he looks normal here too. Like,
well, because he has two eyes and a messed up face. So yeah.
Very muscular bodies.
I was just reading that. Yeah. is simple power up type.
Yep. I really wish whoever writes these needs a new job.
Oops, skipped one.
Oh, that's like
crazy eye.
Yeah, and that's how Kota recognizes him, is by the eye. Like, his whole thing is that he's remembering this police report about his eye being this, and Kota actually remembers at that point in time, oh, this is the person.
I think he also, like, it seems like he flashes back to that scene where they put his normal face up too. Mm-hmm. So, like, he probably saw the mouth, saw the good eye, and was like, no way can it be. And then he saw the messed up eye and remembers a report about that left eye being messed up. And yeah, it's kind of like perfect.
Which, for two people with water quirks, that's crazy.
Oh, I mean, they could have done something else where he trips and falls and stabs his eye on something. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, he
Deku
goes
save.
to hit him because he realizes who he is too.
Yep.
I could not get a good scene of Deku jumping. It was either him in motion or Koda in motion. So it's like together, no.
Yeah. This is a very. It's funny because like when this happens in the manga, it's like I think 3 chapters or something like that. So I expected it when it first happened in the anime to be like 2 or 3 episodes of this battle between them, but it's just like one battle or like one episode, and it's just frenetic.
Mm-hmm. This is when Midoriya is realizing all of a sudden he's like, oh, I screwed up. Now my phone's broken. No one knows where I'm at either, and now there's this dude here.
Yep. But at least he's there to help Koda.
Yeah, somebody's there.
Yeah.
And I think this is a point where he's like realizing he might not be able to do this, and then he realizes there's not a choice either. So
yeah, he's caught between a rock and a hard place. There's nothing he could do but stand his ground.
Yeah. So crazy. I do like Midoriya's eyes during this. They slowly like intensify, borderline on fear and just like I have to be a superhero at this point in time. So it was really awesome.
Yeah, he has to fire on all cylinders during this fight. Because even though he has One for All, like, and even at 100%, like we saw All Might using 100 plus against Anomu, and it took 30, 40 hits to kind of get him out of the building. So clearly this guy is not quite Nomu level, but he's almost within range just normally just because of his strength. So One for All, just one hit isn't going to do enough.
No. And I think at this point in time, he's like slowly realizing, oh, we're doing another skip. So, and then we have to skip to these two. I don't know who this person is they're carrying either. I think it's somebody from Class 1B, but I have no idea.
He is. I don't remember who he is. He's one of the plain-looking ones. There's a lot of like very plain-looking characters in 1B that I can't remember.
Yeah, because I remember at one point in time, he like throws him at Ochako. He's like, here, carry this dude. I have to go do something. Because he does a good job of carrying him this entire time, Todoroki does, but...
He does. And then when Todoroki tosses him to Ochako, I'm like, that's such a smart thing because she can make him weigh nothing. Like, she's the perfect person to be carrying people because they're not going to get hurt because they're not going to be dragged around or anything like that. And it's no effort for her.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
But I like how there's gas going around. Everybody's wearing gas masks. And these two, Bakugo's like, I'm going to put my hand over my mouth, and Todoroki's just going to breathe it in. So it's just like, it's odd to me.
I kind of wondered if Todoroki could somehow, with his ability, kind of like burn it off before it gets into his system, but they didn't go into it. So, I don't know.
And this is when they meet Moonfish, which is the creepiest name anyways.
He's a creepy looking villain. Creepy name.
Yeah. And the fact that Bakugo doesn't even like the look of him or what it does not like, he's like, what is going on?
Yep. Oh my god, he's so gross.
Yeah.
And like I love how we meet Moonfish because he's looking over this random arm on the ground that's been removed from a body and it's just bleeding, and he's like, it's so pretty. It's so pretty.
The noise he makes when he like cries or wails is like the word. I had to like turn it down. I could not handle it.
I wonder how they recorded his voice for it because it really does sound like his mouth is being spread when he's talking. And I'm like, I wonder if the voice actor did that.
Just held it.
Yeah, to kind of like, this is what I sound like without lips, pretty much.
Oh. And then Bakugo's like, I can't fight anybody. So he's like, what do I do? But because this guy, he's assuming is ripping up Shoji and Tokiyami, who are ahead of them. So they're kind of talking about that. And so in all his craziness at this point in time, he still is like, what do I do? Because he wants to beat somebody up at this point.
But do you really think like them telling him not to fight is going to stop Bakugo from not fighting?
It doesn't stop Midoriya, so it's not going to stop Bakugo of anything.
Well, yes. Yeah, exactly. I don't think anything can stop Bakugo or Midoriya. They're all stubborn kids. No. Or Tetsu. I mean, hey, I take it all back.
Oh, this is the part.
Yep.
It's like even in the ground, you could see like she like pushes it out so that you could hear it.
Yep. I also like that she poses like a cat.
Yeah, they all. She's cute.
Your face is my type. He's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Huh? I can only imagine he doesn't hear that much at all.
Yeah. He's just like, oh. He's like blushy faces for a while. Then this guy's fighting
Big sis.
Magni, and and it's like, I didn't realize that she had that big of a rap sheet.
Yep, she's a big old villain.
And the fact that he knows that, so she must be on somewhere where they were trying to look for her.
Yeah, I wonder if there's like a I don't know, some kind of like bounty board or something like that for villains in this world that these are the ones that we really need to try to break down, kind of thing.
It'd be crazy. Oh, and this is when Mandalay's like, hey, stop fighting for a second. We got to figure out something. They haven't talked to Ragdoll, who's the person at the checkpoint halfway around the ring.
Yeah.
And
then they cut to a scene. I don't know if we have that.
Yeah, I got it.
You did? Okay.
Yeah. Just because, and plus this part when she was like talking, she's like, oh my. Like, they already figured it out. And then it's like.
Yep.
You kind of wonder whose hand that is now.
Yeah, when this first happened, it was very much like we have a hand removed from a body, we have this table covered in blood. Like, you think the worst. For sure.
This monologue, or not monologue, but the dialogue between these two was really good. It's like almost as much as Stain yelling at Ida. Like, it's really like to his face. Like, you gotta put your mouth where your arms where your mouth is, because you can't just say something and not do it.
Yep. Yeah. Crazy. He basically, he called him on his bullshit. He's like, get like you could say anything you want, but I mean, you're not able to back it up, so you're basically just lying to this kid.
Yeah, it's not going to give him any faith if he doesn't do it. So,
yeah, this is such a. I remember when this season first came out, I could not wait to see this battle, this scene play out in the anime.
They did a really good job with the way that his like tendons, like I'm wondering if it does hurt when it comes out of his skin like that. He's just used to it, or how?
I wonder. Yeah, he's so sadistic that you got to imagine that like it probably hurts, and he probably likes that it hurts. You know, it's probably part of the reason why he's so filled with murderous rage.
Yeah, it's just such an odd power.
It is. It's cool though. I like it.
Oh, this is when he finds out that they need Bakugo. I think they already talked about how Midoriya is the one they want to get rid of.
Yeah, he said, "Oh, you're on the list." That I think he says it like as soon as he sees him, because he knows his name and he refers to him as Midoriya like this whole time.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah, you're, oh, good, you're on the list. I can kill you, or something like that, and do my job." But I guess before we get started, where's the kid called Bakugo?
Yeah. Which throws off Midoriya this entire time. I think he's like, goes off.
Yeah. Oh, clicked over.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's like his, like, the button to press when you want Midoriya to, like, step up his game, have children cry, or talk about Bakugo and hurting him.
Yep.
It's like his 2-1 punch. Because I think right at this point, he's just getting his butt kicked, too. Like, he hasn't even started fighting back yet.
No, yeah, he hasn't, right? Like, I think he hit him with, like, a normal punch, right? And he was like, really? That's your quirk?
Yeah. Oh, that's coming up. That's what it is. Because at this point, he starts doing it. But he broke his arm already. The other guy, like, punched him. And
he punched him and he blocked it.
Yeah. It's like... I feel bad because the kid's like 13 or 14 and it's like you're just kicking him around like that.
I mean, do you think this guy cares
No,
what age he is?
So mean. That's it.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
That's it. Wow. What? That's your quirk? He's like laughing it off.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They're all talking about Wolverine.
I know. Yeah.
It's one of the better scenes in that first X-Men movie. Yeah, this is going back to the whole don't spout lip service you can't actually pull off.
Yeah, which is kind of like laid out at this point in time. And he's trying to figure it out because he's like super fast. And then I think this is when he tells them that it's water hoses the people that he killed, and then that's when Midoriya also realizes the coincidence.
Yep. That eye is just a gross eye. All of the eyes, like, because he has a couple of them in his pocket, we see him like shuffle through them all. They all look gross. Like, good job. I also don't understand what they are. Are they eye patches? Are they going over the eye? Is he shoving them in the socket?
It's got to be in the socket. It's got to be in the socket. There's no way.
No, they're just gross.
I had to show them because I love their little snorkels. They're cute.
I don't know, it's a cool like outfit. I wonder, because I mean they're partners, right? They're Koda's mom and dad, so they obviously both don't have the same quirk. So I wonder if they're both water types that kind of like their quirks work well together, or like what it is. It's kind of like when we go back to that episode with Froppy, and it's like her work study, and we meet like Selkie's first mate. I forget what her name is, but her power, I kept expecting it to be like some water power or something like that. No, she could just freaking hear really well.
Yeah.
That's it.
And then you tell him where he's at and what's going on. I mean, it makes sense for the partnership. And they might be able to have one that directs the water as the one shoots it. So you never know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But again,
it is water hose, so I don't know.
One could just, well, you'd imagine Koda, who can shoot water, either has one of their powers or a combination of both.
Yeah.
So Koda's parents, Koda, Manuel, all water type quirks. Yes. Manuel, though. No, actually, wait, because I was going to say Manuel can only control water, but I think there's a scene in the manga where he's actually using, like, calling water out, or maybe he's like pulling it from somewhere else. I don't quite know. Crazy.
He's about ready to pound him into the pavement.
Yep. I love that. He's like, a hero's job is to risk his life to make the lip service into reality.
I like how he uses his lines against him too. I'm like, bravo, Midoriya. Good for thinking and quipping at the same time.
Yep. He looks awesome whenever he's bleeding from wherever it is on his scalp. It's like covering his face.
Yeah.
We need face plates like this for the Nendos and like this for the other figures.
Yeah. Just lots of. I don't think they have any with the one for all lines on them. Now that I think about it.
No. Maybe not. Maybe not.
That's a.
So Mariana asks, well, don't all kids get a combination of their parents' quirks? Some just get one or the other too. Like, look at all of the, what? Yeah, not Deku. Yeah, I know. Like, look at the Todorokis. Like, look how many of them were born with just flame powers, or things like that. So, if you could get both, you could get one, or you could be Deku and get none.
Yeah. Like, blows him away, and I'm like, oh my god, Koda. I was like, how is he going to catch him with no arms? And then I'm like, oh, yep, that's right.
Yeah, I love he goes full 100% for that one hit, and it just creates this massive shock wave, because of course that's what happens, like, right? And it just blows Koda off of the mountain. It looks like he goes real far off the mountain too, and yet it obviously was just done a little bit extra for effect, because Midoriya is able to catch him in his teeth.
Which, that's a lot of weight on your teeth.
It is, but he has one for all. He's fine.
Oh, this is the muscle shield tangled mess.
He is like a giant tangled mess of muscle.
I feel bad for him too. He's like, oh my gosh.
Like, this is the best I could do, and it did nothing.
Yeah. He's like, what is wrong with this guy? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think he's asking him about joining the League of Villains kind of thing at this
Yeah.
point. And he's like, I don't care as long as I can use my quirk and just kill people. I don't really care about what their plans are. I'm just going to put this up here for a second. I know for a fact, Mariana, myself, Steph, Dan, and I know Christy knows what's happened in the manga because Dan tells Christy because Christy asked for that. We're all caught up. So I also want to hear your theories. So you should throw us all in one group chat and let us know the theories because I would like to know them.
That would be dangerous.
Hey, you know what? It would be dangerous, but I'm still very intrigued.
He puts his other eye in, which is this one. I don't even know. It's like a bug eye.
Now I'm going to look at you seriously through the other eye that I still can't see out of because there's nothing there.
I didn't even think about that.
I thought about it. I was like, wait, I'm going to look at you seriously? You can't see out of that eye. Like, he's like, this one's just staring straight, though.
Yeah, this one's more intense. It's like, ugh. Oh, and then he gets this. This is when I thought he blew his legs off because I'm waiting for it, and then it didn't happen. I'm like, okay, Deku's still mobile at least. I'll have a little bit of.
Dashing
this
around.
was like really tense, like the music and everything. I know what happens, and I was still like, oh no.
I loved when this went down. I was talking with a couple people that were only watching the anime, and it was great, like getting those reactions from those people. So it was just like it was one of those things where you know they're not going to kill the main character of a show in season 3, the beginning of season 3, especially if you know like the manga's still going on. But this anime has, and the anime at this point has done a good job at like stabbing people like left and right, or like messing up arms to the point where they can't use them anymore. So you kind of wonder like what's going to be around the corner for these characters.
It's gonna be on crutches.
Crutches. He's the world's greatest hero because he's the hero on crutches.
Mm-hmm. I like how it went to like this red thing too, where he's trying to think about what's going on, and it's like almost like the pain threshold is like hit its mark in his brain.
Yep.
And then this is the way he's trying to weigh his options. He's going to run and then try to get to Aizawa, and then that was his thing. But he realized that turning his back on him was going to be the worst thing that he could possibly do. Yeah,
because he realizes that this guy, because he can put those muscles anywhere he wants, he's super fast because he can put them in his legs. Just faster than Midoriya at this point because Midoriya can't use his legs at 100% continuously. No. This guy can. So, it's not going to really do very well.
Mm-hmm. And he like convinces himself. He's like, I have to win. I have to do this right.
I think that this self-realization of this moment was my favorite part of this battle. Was like, okay, here's all the options that I have. Really, I only have this one. And he's like, I guess this is it. This is the best I can do.
Mm-hmm. And it's like for a kid, that's a lot because he's realizing he's probably not going to make it out of this. Like he's going to have to push through and do something that he is not ready for.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Truth.
I think. And his broken arm too, which made me cringe as it was enough. It's just like
the first time he uses 100% is where like his entire shirt rips open because of the pressure of it, right? Not this time. Yeah.
That was also bounces off of his arm, like whatever. And at this point in time, I think he said, I'm done playing. And now he wants to like really use his quirk. And so Deku also realizes that he's going to be faster and stronger at the same time.
Yep. Yeah. He realizes that this guy is different and at a different level than even what he thought because he was just kind of toying with them.
Mm-hmm. Like his pupils go away for like scene after scene after scene. I can't imagine how much this hurts either.
Yeah. Yep. It's like, just a wall of muscle. And it's like he hits it like this and he's clearly pushing so hard. And yet you just watch his back get like arched down to the ground until he's like flat up against the ground.
Yeah.
Yep. Crazy looks. I love it.
Yeah. It was just like the sequence of just them fighting was just, it was all Midoriya. It was very cool.
Yep.
He's trying to get Kota to run, so he's trying to ease into his mind like I can't win, I can't beat this guy.
He has to be the wall that won't fall. So awesome.
I feel bad for Koda too, because he's like having his own mental like breakdown, doesn't know he's seeing the guy who killed his parents, realizing that Deku's awesome, all like this one big package of kid emotions.
He was like super worried for Deku too, because he's like, you're gonna hit him with what? Like what? And then he like goes at him with his bad arm. And meanwhile, while this is happening, all of these scenes, there's just blood like spraying out of that arm in multiple places. It's crazy. Yeah. That's the muscle guy saying that, right?
Yeah, because he's so excited that somebody's this strong.
Yep. He's enjoying the fact that he's just keeping the pressure on.
So I'm sure he's just like remembering all the things that people can say, because I think All Might's saying this right now, that heroes can always break out of a tough spot.
Yep.
And he's just remembering all this stuff, and then he starts apologizing to his mom and to All Might, because he really thinks that this is just going to be it. And then the sprinkler happens.
It is. He just sprays him. He throws a bucket of water at him.
Yeah.
There you go. Water.
Yeah. This is the scene. It looks ridiculous. His arm is like shredded. Like
there are some drawings during this and like the next couple episodes when his arm's just dangling, where there's so many jagged edges at the edge of like his arm that you're like, that thing is mangled beyond all point of ever repairing it. It's disgusting.
And so the water distracted the muscle guy enough, I think, to like loosen him tightness enough so Deku could actually get one last super hit off.
He just needed to get through that muscle shield, basically.
No. Yeah. Oh, this is the thing, is like, because he said he's gonna wait, Koda, I'll kill you in a minute. That's what the muscle guy says to him, and Deku's just like, oh hell no.
Yeah, like I'd let you do that.
Yeah.
1,000,000%, baby.
Yeah. I was like, okay, we can't go for like 1,000%. We're just gonna kick it.
You jump right to 1,000,000. You go all the way.
And they had like flashes on this of like the drawings versus like animated. It was really hard to get. They're really cool in between, because you have like this, like just the sketch.
Yep. Yeah, they do a good job when it's like the big moments.
There's some more blood for you too.
You gotta wonder, is that the villain's blood or is that?
I'm pretty sure it's Decker's.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, the villain seemed fine. He just seemed like he was knocked out cold, but not bleeding. And Koda's like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, the kid that he hit the balls and then.
I know. That's like the best part of it, when he like talks to Aizawa like later, and he's like, I hit him in the junk, and I just, I'm so sorry, and I want to say thank you. And I was like, yeah, lean on the thank you part a little bit more.
But this is like, they didn't have a title screen, because this is the title of this episode, and it says Koda calls him my hero, like his actual.
Love this splash screen, because it's you kind of wonder, like, is he smiling because he knows he should be smiling, as the hero, or is he smiling because he's just like, I did it, like I survived, or is he smiling because he feels like he saved Koda? Is he not even smiling at all? Is he just like exasperated? Yeah. I think that's it, because like we get a cut to this scene, I think at the beginning of next episode as well, and it looks like he's just kind of screaming up at the sky, but Koda sees it as like, he's smiling and happy.
That's good though. And that's the end of that episode.
Yes, it is. All right. So, favorite part of that episode?
I love that whole fight. Is amazing. Like I told you before, I don't have very many good Deku moments, because I had like my Bakugo moments. They seem to collide, but this one was definitely. I loved his intensity and like the way he actually stepped up, which is hard to do at that age. But Deku always seems to find the right footing, even if it takes him just a moment.
Yeah, I think that whole battle. I mean, I can't pick a specific moment in that battle because it really is. It's a quick battle. I think if you were to watch it from afar, it's probably only like the length of like 5 minutes tops, pretty much. But because we get so much introspection into all the characters, it takes a little bit longer for us to watch it. But it's like it's the full journey of it all. Like he's just really going there to get Coda to like bring him to safety, but then he realizes the crappy situation Coda's in, and then him coming with that realization is like I can't even escape with him because this guy's going to catch us and kill us.
Yeah.
It's the whole it is just like I don't know, progression of that and the whole thing together. Yeah. It's hard to not pick that battle as like the best moment of that episode.
Yeah.
Creation Odyssey says, I think he's smiling because of all the above. I agree. You also, Mariana also said something about Attack on Titan doing it all the time because they kill all the main characters left and right. Yeah, but they don't kill Eren Yeager. And he's the main character, really, of that show. Like, even though, I mean, granted, I have not watched the new season yet. I'm waiting till I can bank a couple more. But, like, every show has, like, the main like title character, right? Like who would you put like as the main thing?
Yeah.
Like Naruto is Naruto. Like Hunter x Hunter, it's Gone. Like everybody like has a main, and there's side characters, some that are like almost as big as the main. Like you could almost say that Bakugo is like almost as big as Deku is in this show, right? So if they kill Bakugo or something, then that's like a big thing. But again, it's not killing the main character. It's like, but you could also see them killing off Deku maybe at some point, and then putting a different character in that role, but it's a possibility for like later on down the line. That's kind of what I mean. Not many shows do that. Not many properties do that. But it's possible.
I can only think of one off the top of my head, and I don't think that was the main character to begin with. I think it was like a kind of they showed it.
I think I know which one you're talking about, even though I never watched the anime. I've only saw the terrible live action Netflix movie of it. If we're talking about the same show. No? Okay.
But I was like, I'm talking about Gurren Lagann, which is like.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that is actually a really good point because granted, you don't think that I'm going to brain fart on his name. But that character, actually, it's probably better if we don't see that character. You think that you don't think that he's the main character still because even like the opening intro kind of shows you who the main character is, right?
Yeah.
And you're following one person, even though another person is introduced, you kind of, that's a very good, like, yeah.
They're spoiling it anyway for themselves.
That's fine. Yeah, Dan says he kind of died though, Eren Yeager. Yeah, it's true. And let me tell you, when that episode happened, I was absolutely shocked. And then it was revealed, oh no, wait. Just kidding. And that's it, right? Like you could do that in shows, sure. But it's like if they actually are going to kill, like in this battle, it's the fourth episode of the third season?
Yeah.
You're not going to kill the main character.
That or change your intro.
Which I love when shows do that though. It's like, here's the swerve. We actually put a character, and actually there's a show that's on right now that kind of did that, where there's a character in the main intro. Dan and I were talking about this yesterday, and then all of a sudden the swerve happened in the show, and we're like, but that character's in the intro. Oh, that was like a red herring to kind of be like, no, just kidding. And it's cool. I like that. It kind of keeps you on your toes, especially with anime intros that like to spoil too much shit.
Yeah.
Like watching Naruto, there was a season where the intro, I was like, oh, well, I guess this main character dies in this season because it's there in the opening. And then 20 episodes into that season, that character dies. And I'm like, yeah, thanks for the shocker.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's dive back into. I could talk about other anime forever, but
some Class B episode.
I don't understand this. Oh, I do understand this title now that I
was like, Tom.
Sorry. Hey.
It's not a Marvel reference.
And that's what gets me. As every time I hear Iron Fist, I'm thinking of Danny Rand, but it's not. I get it. Okay. Drive it home, Iron Fist.
I think this is the only time we see Shigaraki in this whole time too. Like he's only like in the beginning of this one, kind of because he didn't even go on his secret mission.
But
which is probably a good thing.
The best explanation, I love it because we go back to the video game comparisons. You know, he's like, this whole time I've been playing it like an RPG with my party. It's like, no, I got to be thinking about it as like a simulation where, you know, I'm sending out the party to kind of whittle them down. You know, you can't go to the main boss right away. Which, yeah, you have it here.
I didn't get them before they got electrocuted though, because I think they're like the actual characters. Like some of them are dressed like Ida and stuff. I missed it.
Oh, are they? They look like Dragon Quest characters to me.
I think there's like, yeah, I don't remember which ones were which. I think this is, nope, I didn't get it.
That's okay. I do like that he acknowledges his Vanguard action squad's strength being real. He's like, yeah, because I think, oh my man, you got me brain farting on his warp
dude.
Okay. What?
Warp dude.
No. Okay. Well, I'm not going to remember it now. But anyway, he says like, oh, are they just sacrificial pawns? And he's like, no, they're not. They're actually, their strength is actually real, which was crazy. I would never have expected Shigaraki to even admit that kind of thing, right? It's like he kind of has an attachment to his little Vanguard action squad, it seems like.
I think he only has an attachment to some of them.
Yes, that is very true. Very true.
And I think that he doesn't really, like, his whole thing is he knows enough where he's just like, I'm not going to like be overly emotional about anything, but they'll know that I care about them.
Yes. In a very Shigaraki-esque way.
Mm-hmm. Well, they get it later too. It's good. I love that that's his picture that he has.
I mean, it gives you all of the reasoning that you would think that the villains would come to for why they want to capture him, right?
Well, they think he's being like told not to be himself, that he's just being contained and he has all this excess energy and he wants to use his quirk all the time. Little do they know he's just an a-hole. So it's just like
you said it, not me.
I love him, so it's okay if I say it. Let me go back to poor Koda, who's like, I don't know what we're gonna do now. And Deku's telling him it's all right. The guy's like knocked out. Koda's like, that's not what I mean. Like his arms are broken and everything else.
Yeah, look at that arm. Just like look at the line going down of what should be a nice like subtle curve of like musculature or whatever, and it's just like, nope, here's random bumps, a couple jags. Like,
I mean, you think he's like, I think his like elbows dislocated. Like the guy like crunched it quite a bit of times.
One of my favorite ongoing gags, it's not really a gag, but in this string of episodes, is anytime someone sees Midoriya, they're like, oh, you did it again. You can't even move. Like, you're not even able to, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. And they all acknowledge too that he's just like plowing forward to find Bakugo without an actual plan. Like, what are you gonna do when you get there?
Yep. It's like, I don't know, I'm just gonna keep running. Make it up as I go along. Yeah.
This is like him remembering that he thinks that there's somebody else that they're trying to get to. That it could be he has to let them know that all the students are in danger.
Yep, because he's the only one so far that seems to know that they actually have a plan to capture some of the kids. Oh, we're going back in time again.
No, I think this is Aizawa now.
Yep.
Yes.
I believe so.
Yeah, he notices.
Oh, no. That's right. They're talking about, we're going to need you to spray some buckets of water on stuff.
Yeah, just be a sprinkler for a little while.
Yeah. And Mariana says this in like the last episode where she thinks that this is like the first time Koda uses his power. And I absolutely got that same sensation from this. Like it was probably just like seeing the stress of the situation that just made it come out. But probably to that point, he probably like repressed.
During when he brings him his curry, there's like they pan around and he's like been gnawing a hole with the water for his frustration.
Oh.
And so that's like his way of like getting the gas out of the fire, basically. It's like just to like dude, because that's why he didn't want him to walk closer, because he was hiding that whole thing.
Gotcha. Okay. So maybe it wasn't his first type then. Never mind.
I just know that because I noticed it. I was like, oh, poor little guy.
No, that's exactly the purpose of a rewatch, right? Is to pick up like all those like little things.
Mm-hmm. I think this one got in there twice. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yep. I love that move. It's so crazy. I guess you are a pro hero after all.
And this, okay, so Endeavor blowing the Nomu's heads off with the super fire was like his like pro, like me respecting him. Aizawa during this scene, total pro respect too. He goes all Batman on Dabi.
Oh yeah, he does. He schools Dabi in this moment. Because like also you'd think that like they have enough intel, Dabi would know what Aizawa's power is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's like kind of doesn't expect him to turn off his flames in a way.
I don't think he actually cares.
I don't think so either, but like he did seem surprised when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which I was like, you shouldn't be surprised if you have all of this intel going into this.
Yeah. This was my favorite line. Just like straight. This is very Batman, very like to the point. Like I don't need to do any chit chat. Just tell me what's going on.
This is Aizawa showing why he's a pro.
Mm-hmm. And he like breaks his arm. And
yeah, he does. He's like, if you don't tell me, I'll go to the other one.
When we make it to the feet, it's not going to be fun or something to that regard. And then he gets up. I don't remember what happens. Like he gets out of this, and he's like, "That's about as much damage as I can take." And then you realize something's wrong with him.
I believe some kids, the kids that are running, they show up. Yeah. Ida and them show up, and that's why he like kind of like pulls out for a second and is like, "Oh," and he gets up and he says, "Yeah," his creepy ass line, and they're left wondering like the fire wasn't his quirk. Like what the heck? What's going on? Which the first time I saw this happening, I didn't understand what was happening either. I'm like, what is this dude's quirk? You also don't realize, like, even when he goes back to talk to Twice, and Twice is like, he says to Twice, like, make another one of me. Like, you don't understand exactly what's happening. It took me until I fully understood Twice's ability to understand this scenario.
And then I think I was so excited to see him too. I love his voice. It's like amazing. And he gets mad at him for being beaten too. He's like, "What the hell's wrong with you?"
Yeah. Like, I thought you were stronger.
Yeah. You're so weak. And
but that's only one side of Twice. The other side of Twice is like the best thing. I love Twice because he's says both sides of everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
I think the next one is Dabi asking him, and I realize that Twice is flipping him off for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
And so he tells him, he's just like, "Make another one of me." And he's like, it doesn't matter how many times a small fry goes in. Twice is like, "Screw you, I have to make these things."
Yeah.
Just like,
I also love how annoyed Dabi just looks at Twice.
Yeah. The whole time he's like bouncing around and Dabi's just like monotone talking.
Yep. I love this interaction between these two.
Yeah.
Because Deku's on like an adrenaline high. Aizawa notices this. Deku's like just wants to get to where he's going, and Aizawa's like, "Dude, just stop for a second so I can talk to you." And he's like, "You did it again. Did you forget everything that we just went through? I guess it's a new season, so maybe you did forget."
I don't think, like, he does remember this. It's just not his fault this time. He didn't really have a choice. And I think Koda even notices, he's like, "Well, that's not fair. He didn't have a choice." So it's kind of, yeah. And so Aizawa realizes probably halfway through this too, and he tells him, he's like, "You need to tell Mandalay to say this," which is one of the coolest Aizawa moves ever.
It really is. It is Aizawa being the cool teacher, right? Where he's like, "This will save your ass so you don't get in trouble and you don't get expelled from school." Plus also, it, I guess, might actually help all the kids in the situation. Which is so second, because Aizawa would not have basically given the order, I think, until he met up with Mandalay himself, recognized what was going on, and they had a discussion. But seeing Deku, I think, was enough to be like, "Okay, we got to rush this thing through."
And then we get back to the fight in this clearing. between these. I think there's 4 of them now because I think Spinner and her are still fighting and like all this stuff. And this is when I got it like mid jump for the next one where she's like,
I was going through these. I'm like, you got the perfect like scene, and I love it when it happens.
Yeah.
That's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it just smashes through his sword, and just like I don't know how long it took him to put that weapon together, but
it's gone now. Doesn't matter.
Done.
And I love too because like they're talking, like they're quipping back and forth at each other, and you hear the smash like happen like in the distance, and then the next thing you know, it cuts to the scene, and he's just like
through it.
He's doing this through it. It's great, and the way how he like lands too. It's just
Deku
was something else.
I love he's still in his like tennis shoes too. Tennis shoes and shorts, just running through the forest.
Yep, it's enough.
And then he's like flying and tells her Koda's okay as he's going down. And Mandalorian's like, what the hell?
Yeah, like Koda's okay. I'm on the verge of death, but Koda's okay.
Yeah. Oh, then he tells her, like, Aizawa told me to tell you this. You need to broadcast it.
Yep.
And that they're allowed to fight. And even her, she's like, okay, I hope you know.
I know. She's like, I hope he knows what he's doing, which is, yeah. I mean, coming from her, you'd also think that maybe she doesn't realize at that point how widespread the villain attack is. Mm. She's been caught up a Spinner this whole time. But yeah.
I mean, she respects Aizawa enough to know, like, okay, if he says it's all right, then it must be something going on. And I think later on in this episode, we find out that a lot of the villains are hiding themselves from the main pros.
Yep. They spread out in the forest pretty well, I think. Taiyaki. Again. Taiyaki is a big thing on the show.
I don't remember if we had these ones before. I like that.
I don't think so, because I did not remember his being apples.
I thought it was cute for a bird.
No, it's perfect. It is perfect for him. It's so funny. Flashback to the nuts.
Poor Koda.
Yeah.
Just his like knowledge now of Deku, like I can't even imagine how he thinks this is a pro hero, what they're supposed to act like and do. That's his idea.
They get to the verge of death. That happens every time.
Yeah. I mean, he's just like, and he's hugging. He's always like the perfect like little like parent too. He's like carrying Koda around like all nice and cute.
This is what Dan says here. Taiyaki, in case anyone didn't know, is the fish cakes that Gran Torino likes. Aww. And also that Midoriya says is him. It's like the representation of him turning in a microwave. He is the Taiyaki. So yes, I love it. I love
anytime not made
Taiyaki,
fish.
I think of Midoriya every time. It's a dessert. So it's like they're talking about this food in the chat.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This is so cute. Like I haven't even told him sorry yet or thank you.
It's when you realize he is still like a little guy. Like he's not like
How old do you think Koda is? How old do you think Koda is?
How old's Eri? They're the same age, I think.
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know if I was supposed to say that out
loud. Am I allowed to mention her name?
Yeah, I mean, this is a rewatch, so I think we're fine. I think as long as it happened in the anime, we could talk about it.
Sure. I think they're about the same age. Probably elementary school.
Yeah.
Like 7 or 8.
I don't know. All kids look the same to me now. I love that too. Like, where he's like, they're after Kachan, and they're like, who the hell is Kachan?
Yeah, they're like, they don't know it, but everyone else does, just not. And then she realizes, she's like, oh my god, they know what's going on. And she's like, I need to kill this person now. They're on the hit list.
They are on the hit list, and like they're that damaged, and like there's only, they know
kill list. And then Spinner stops her. because he's like, no, Stain wants him alive.
I love that too, where he's just like, no, yeah, like Stain saved him, so therefore he is granted a pass. Like, we're not going to kill him.
Yeah, and then both of them getting taken down. They've like finally got a good hit because they got distracted, which is good. And all their reactions to it being, oh, Bakugo. Manetta's like scared out of his mind.
When is Manetta not scared out of
I
his
know,
mind?
but they're not even near danger.
No, they're not.
I do feel bad because I don't think Kirishima's like stuck there and he can't do anything.
They're all trapped in that classroom. Hey, that's what happens when you fail your class, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Can't be out there helping your friends.
No.
I love the way Bakugo was running in this episode. It was great. His crazy eyes while it's just like wobbling back and forth.
And the noises he's making too, because he's just so annoyed that this person keeps talking to him.
But they're also like, he doesn't reference it, but he kind of does. But he doesn't say anything about being called Kachan, even though he knows. He's like, damn, Deku must have done something, because he knows like there's only one person that would call him that.
Yeah.
But it is great. Like, we don't even know what the where that nickname comes from, right? Do we?
I think it's just a childhood nickname because of Katsuki, I believe, is like it would be cut down.
Okay.
Kachan. Yeah. I don't know. It's probably from when they were little. It just seemed like the name to call him.
This Mariana is talking about that line right there. Made Spinner being with them all the more weird that he is with the villains. Yeah, but Stain wasn't really with the villains, though Spinner did not know that. I don't think anyone but Stain knew that Stain wasn't with the League of Villains. So in Spinner's mind, he was still a member of the League of Villains, even though the League of Villains goes against a little bit what Stain wanted. He's just trying to live up to Stain's ideals, maybe under the same roof, I guess, as the League of Villains. It is a little weird. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, thank you, Dan.
There's 2 C's, but yeah, it's got to be a shortening of it.
Yeah, it might be 2 C's just because he's saying it as one word instead of Kachan. It's Kachan.
But you're right. Sense. I think Deku's the only one that calls him that.
Oh, he is. 100%.
That's probably what pissed him off even more. This was like the cool thing for Shoto finally like stepping up. Sometimes I'm like, okay, finally get some fighting style in there, because Bakugo was being dumb during this point. I was like, okay, and he's fighting with somebody on his back.
There's a moment where Todoroki in this set of episodes creates an ice wall, the likes of which puts the one he did during the tournament to utter shame. And I'm like, goddamn, son, why didn't you just do that from the very beginning?
Yeah.
I guess that's not, they're told not to fight, but is that really fighting if he just freezes them in ice? I guess so.
It could hurt him. Yeah. Because he was mad because they told him to fight, and then like a couple minutes later they told him, no, you have to make sure that Bakugo gets back here safe and not fight. And he's like, what the hell?
You got like really excited. It was like, but wait, what? And I love that vein that you see up in the upper right. It's just like pulsating.
Yeah. Because he's just irritated. He's like, why me? Like, what's going on? I just can't get over that it's his teeth. It's gross. It's just so weird.
It's real gross. Everything about this guy is super gross, and he's like walking around on his teeth. Like,
because he's in like a straitjacket, right? His arms are bound.
Yep. His arms are bound. His mouth is just like completely spread open. He looks like a character from Hellraiser. Just, yeah.
Oh, this part was super sweet too, because you get to see Kendo's kind of like the way she thinks and how things work and everything like that, and how she is the class rep for them. Yep. And just like, I'd never even thought about it too. There's got to be a source for it and how it flows through the forest, and then how she explains it like a typhoon. There's like crazy. And then she calls it out that Mandalay doesn't say anything about the smoke, so they must not know.
Her entire analysis of this situation was, very brilliant, because it's something that I totally, like you just said, I didn't pick up on that myself either. That Mandalay said nothing about the smoke, so therefore it must mean that it hasn't reached that far.
Yeah.
Because she would have totally have warned them, like, oh, and beware, don't breathe in the pink smoke or whatever. It's good.
Just their interaction too, because they both kind of resemble other characters in Class A, but they're totally different at the same time. Like I think of Kendo, I think of Momo at the same time. They both have like kind of the same status, and obviously Tetsu and Kirishima. But I believe Tetsu almost has like a Bakugo feel to him about his like running in and not actually thinking about it and being kind of hot-headed. Versus Kirishima, I believe, is a lot more mellow and tries to be more a support.
Yeah.
So I just like this interaction though, because it's like he really does listen to her and like understands that knows what she's talking about.
In that regard, I think he's a little bit more like Kirishima.
Yes.
This kind of stuff. Because he reacts the same way.
He listens.
Oh, that's the I don't dislike that part of you moment.
His one-track mind or something to that effect. I
like this kid's look. Because he's apparently a kid, because that is, as Tetsu points out, the outfit that he is wearing is the outfit before the kids in Japan get to high school. It's the outfit that all those kids wear.
Mm-hmm.
So that actually ages him, unless he's just wearing a kid's outfit to kind of throw people off. But I
like his villain name. It's very well played out.
It's good for him. It's also it has a good ring to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mustard.
And the gun was a surprise. I remember watching this the first time. I'm like, what?
The gun was a surprise. Yeah, at the same time, he kind of looked like a World War II like shock trooper in some ways. And I'm like, it kind of wasn't a surprise to me, but it also was just because it's like, we're used to seeing powers and quirks and stuff like that. So to see just like a normal gun, it's interesting. Yeah, Hellgas from Killzone. That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I just read too. Are you pretending to be the Terminator? Because he keeps running at him and just getting shot over and over and over and over. And it's gotta hurt, no matter steel or not.
Well, yeah, we see it breaks through his steel at a certain point. Like he has metal fatigue because he's been training all day, so he can't hold up this form for too long. Plus, he's trying to hold his breath. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that was the very first thing that Mustard does is he shoots the gas mask right off Tetsu's face. Tetsu's face. It's hard to say his name because I don't know where to stop Tetsu sometimes because
there's a bunch of them. Yep. I actually remembered his name this time, which I was pretty proud of myself.
It's hard to forget actually once you get it.
This part was very not out of character, but it was something different from him because he went charging in there thinking he was going to be a hero and realizing that other people are around, even if it is Kendo who can defend herself. It's kind of nice to see the teamwork.
Yeah, I'd still imagine though that a bullet to her giant hand would hurt a lot.
Yeah, well, it's breaking through his little steel too. Yeah. I like how his hair is steel too. It just like everything.
Everything, just like Kirishima's hair gets super hard.
Mm-hmm. And the Mustard guy is just like belittling him this entire time too. It's
great. I love it, and I love the way how when Kendo uses her, she attacks first. Was it? Oh no!
I couldn't get a good still of it too.
She attacks, blows up her hand, knocks him out, and he's like, "That's your quirk, really?" Like he's making fun of her, and then all of a sudden she pretty much saves the day.
Yeah. And this is the part where you think that Tetsu is going to be knocked out cold, and then she does do that, and then she uses it in a amazingly smart way.
Yep, she really does.
I couldn't get it with it,
yeah. Yeah, that's when she knocks him out, or knocks him back at least.
Mm-hmm.
Followed up by so good.
She just fans the fog around.
Blows out of the way. I mean, she pretty much has these giant fans for hands. So
yeah.
As well.
And he said, "Was it a dumb quirk? And it's not a stupid one if you know how to use it."
Right.
I think is what she says. It's just crazy. And then this is the best hit that you could get.
Knocks his gas mask right off.
Yeah. And this is so smart too.
I mean, that's one that I like. I at least picked up on that one. I'm like, dude's wearing a gas mask in the center of his gas, which is clearly his quirk. So his quirk obviously affects him too, which must have sucked growing up, not knowing that. But yeah, like it was just good. Like good teamwork for these two.
Mm-hmm. The next screen is pretty good. I like how he calls him stupid because he's been called stupid the entire time.
He kind of looks like the guy that runs the preliminaries.
Yeah, the sleepy guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I felt so bad.
I know.
When we get back to him, you get something just like knocks his arm. Not something, someone.
Not something. It is kind of a something.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. And he's just like, nah! Like the electric shock. And then, Shoji. It's like, I felt bad. I'm like, he did need a hug. And like, picked up. Just like, I'll take care of you.
This was the cutest, like, series of things that these two would do for the next, like, episode, too. Because it's like, here is Shoji. And then you have a little Midoriya head, just like right there, and he's like, "I'm like almost dying." It's really funny.
And when they explain Shoji's powers some more, I think it's in the next one where like it like duplicates and duplicates. It's like the teeth guy, like it's just like it sprawls out, but it's his arms.
Yeah, that's so really funny.
I like how they know what's going on. This just looks painful.
It is. Is this the last screen for this episode?
I think so.
This was so cool though to see Dark Shadow finally, like what happens when it overcomes, because this is one of those moments that like when I was first reading it, like I never expected this to happen in this scenario. But when it happens, I'm like, these poor kids can't catch a break because we learned that Shoji also had one of his arms cut off. That's the arm that Moonfish was like hanging out over, I guess, or I don't know, romanticizing or whatever he was doing with it.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah, that's the arm. That's like the weird severed arm.
Oh, see, I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
So we have that. We have Deku, who's on the verge of death. And they're there, and all of a sudden, their friend is being overcome by their quirk, and this is like going apeshit.
It's just the quirks do all kinds of crazy things, and then the whole time with the last episode when he's like revelry in the dark, I'm like, there's your revelry.
Yeah, I know. It's like the revel. I don't understand why he says revelry in the dark, because like I guess he's trying to get Dark Shadow to be tame in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like it's a fun process. Like,
no,
this is what happens. It's not revelry.
That's why he's in the cave just screaming.
I know. It's great. I do like, though, how the whole entire time Shoji's like, he's been trying so hard this whole time. You don't understand how much pain and anguish it is for him to try to control Dark Shadow in the nighttime in these woods. And he's been doing such a great job. And then all of a sudden, seeing my arm get cut off, that did it for him. It sent him into this.
Made him angry.
Yeah. And he's like, even though I told him it's fine, I can throw another one. That's kind of my deal. But
yeah. And I love how they did like when they made him go around for the circle of whatever, fear, whatever it was for their trial. And it's like, why would you do that, Tokiyami? Just let him sit it out. Like, you just need to go in the dark and be scared. Like, they're just asking for more trouble.
Yep. Oh, man. He is such a... I love Dark Shadow. His quirk. Yeah. So cool. Well, favorite moment of this episode.
This is a good one, too. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, there's a lot of good, like, little moments. Like, I already know probably what Dan's favorite moment is, because he was talking about he loves seeing Class 1B do big Class 1A stuff. So I imagine it's Kendo and Tetsu taking down Mustard.
That is good. But I like Aizawa breaking Dabi Mud Guy's arm, because it was like really like looking at him from a superhero like point of view. Like the same thing with Endeavor burning the guy's head. Like, they do this for a living. They go out there and take care of things.
They get down to business.
Yes.
For me, it's definitely, I love seeing people who don't know Midoriya when he does something crazy and just kind of keeps going. So when he jumps through Spinner's sword, yells in midair, everything's fine, lands, and then tells the thing, and then just fucking books it.
And leaves.
Mandalay's face. It's like all of that and Mandalay's face, like her reaction to that, like what just happened, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
So that's my favorite.
It is also nice to know that Bakugo knows that it's Deku's fault that they all got this information all of a sudden too. Yep. Like he's pissed about it. Like something's going on where I'm not involved, and now he's even more mad.
Like, clearly, this kid is off doing stuff. I want to do stuff too. Damn it!
Yeah.
That's a total Bakugo way to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yep, I knew that. Dan, with the Tetsu and Kendo versus Mustard. Mariana says his quirk is insane. It's more like a possession. It totally is. It's like it's possession that he can control, provided there's enough light.
Yeah.
But if there's no light, that's it.
Which is next episode, he makes like the weirdest noise after everything gets over with.
Does he?
Yeah, when they help him.
Well, let's get right into it then.
Yeah.
To the roaring upheaval.
I'm assuming it's about Dark Shadow, so just because it's all crazy, but I don't know.
I imagine it's dark like that. Probably most likely that one scene where it's Moonfish up in the sky, crazy shit's going on. He's like stabbing the ground. They all look to the right, and then all these trees are just knocking down and like in a line towards them. And like, yeah, that's my guess. That's the roaring upheaval. Who knows? This whole scenario though could be the roaring upheaval. Like, the villains get a good one up in this scene too. That's an upheaval of the situation.
Yeah.
So
this part is like Jurassic Park, like when he's like pulling the trees and Shoji's like, "Shh, be quiet, like we have to hide." Like it's just crazy to me.
I love how crazy powerful Dark Shadow is during this. So you can see the full potential. The full potential of Dark Shadow as a quirk is way greater than Tokiyami could hope to ever harness right now. Maybe down the line he'll be able to become this powerful, but it's like basically he is like a Godzilla in a sense, right?
It's just crazy how it moves and everything. And then it's got like Shoji's got his like little Deku backpack on too.
I know. I love the little Deku backpack.
Yeah. And this is when he's talking about like getting his hand cut off, and that's what set him off, and he was trying to cover him up, and he like covered up Tokiyami, and that was enough to set him off. It was even darker or something to that respect.
Yeah, cover Tokiyami hiding in the foliage. Yep.
Oh, that he's explaining that's okay. It's just a duplicate one.
Yeah, just a duplicate. And I think they even branches off after that and grows like another one. It's like,
it's just so, his power is so random. And he's talking to him the entire time. And I feel bad because like these guys have been friends, and like basically him and his quirk have been together since they were like 4 or 5. So he's grown up together, and now he's fully like freaking out. No way to calm him down.
And he's on a rampage, and it sucks for Tokiyami to be completely cognizant during this.
Yeah.
Right? Like you almost kind of hope that he wouldn't be, because he sees the torment that his quirk is putting in other people, and he cannot stop it. Even if he desperately wants to. Like desperately. And I feel so bad for him. I'm like, I kind of hope that someone just knocks him out. And I wonder, like, if knocking out the source, if that would knock out Dark Shadow, probably not, right?
No, I think that they're two separate, even though they're one, but they're two separate entities almost.
Yeah.
I think we just could. So Shoji asks him to help him save Tokiyami, and like I think Shoji's idea was to knock him out, at least to put his suffering to an end, so they could face Dark Shadow, like go with that. And he was trying to get Deku's help. He's like, "Why don't you wait on helping Bakugo and help me?" And of course, Deku's like, "No." Basically,
well, he gives him the option. He's like, "The way I see it is, we could either." Like you could either stay and save Tokiyami, or you can continue on and go help Bakugo. You can only help one, right? And Deku says no to that idea where he can only help one. because Deku's Deku. He's like, no, why not both? My favorite like gif of like, why not both? Flesh, piece of meat. So gross. Blade tooth, quirk, blade tooth.
So, can you imagine being 4 and that just activate in your mouth?
I think I would probably become Moonfish as well if that happened to me.
Yeah,
I would
like,
want to murder very too. I'm like, do you see what like the fates had ordained for me?
Yeah. Oh, and this is when Bakugo's logic in this is just like he's trying really hard to figure out a way to beat this guy too, and he's like, I could literally blow him up, but I can't because it's going to destroy everything.
Well, they're more worried. Yeah, Shoto makes a really good point, being like, look, if you use your powers near all these trees, it's just going to create a giant forest fire, and matters will be so much worse. And that's why Bakugo's like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I think he already knows that too, so he's trying to figure out if he can get near him at all to do anything. And then he's like, well, if I start a fire, you can just like ice it down. And Todoroki's like, how if I can't see anything because you're blowing stuff up? Yep. This is crazy. Shoji's eyes that big is like my favorite. This is when they show up after the trees are all getting parted. And like Bakugo and Todoroki are like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, oh yes, we found you, basically. So they're trying to get ready for this. He's like crying. I feel so bad. Yeah. He's just like ready to go. And then Shoji's like, you guys need to turn off his quirk. Like use your fire, calm him down because he's freaking out.
But this is where Bakugo has like brilliant moment.
He gets trampled by Dark Shadow. And then he like slowly puts himself back up. And then Bakugo's like, wait a second.
Yeah, just one moment.
Just wait.
Just give me one more second of this crazy rampaging shadow beast, please.
Yeah. And he just like, they did break all, like his evil like look like, oh, this is perfect.
Dude, Moonfish gets wrecked. Like all of his teeth get knocked out or broken. I love it. Yeah. You just get like that. And much like Mustard, Moonfish was never seen again.
Yeah. Spiral. And this part right here, like Dark Shadow goes like super small and he makes like the noise because he gets all scared from the fire.
I feel bad because he's an entity, right? Yeah. He's conscious. But I also love little crying Dark Shadow. Like it's such a cute, like little, I don't know. If they do a Nendo, of which they should, of Tokiyami, he better come with like a little crying Dark Shadow and not the little good smile. This is for you. Stop with the flat plastic sheets of like, this is a thing. No, give us 3-dimensional. I want a 3-dimensional Dark Shadow, not like some plastic like little thing I got to put behind my character. That's not cool. That sucks. All right, that's enough of that.
You're right. So remember when you're like with the Froppy with the goggles, you're like, Steph, it comes to little plastic things. I'm like, oh yes, that's a normal thing.
Yeah, it's like this little plastic thing's so dumb too. I just constantly pops out. What's the point of that? Just give me a head with the goggles on it.
It will like be magnetic like the Kirby's, but that's okay. It's a
different thing. Better. Oh my god, they're using magnets.
Yeah,
please.
This right here is Bakugo telling Tokiyami, it's almost like a sign of like, hey, don't worry, I'm a bad matchup for you. But it's also Bakugo telling himself, thank God I'm a bad matchup for you because he just watched him like trample somebody.
Yeah. I actually did really like this too because I saw it the exact same way. Him doing the I'm a bad matchup for you was. It is kind of like a term of endearment from Bakugo in this scenario, which he's being really like, he's saying something that on face value sounds like he's being derogatory, but he's not at all. He's like, no. I'm a bad matchup for you, meaning like, I got your back. I know I'm your weakness, but I got your back.
Yeah. But internally, he's like, God damn, that guy's strong, basically. Yeah. Acknowledging it.
Like, if I didn't have my quirk, I'd be crushed.
Yeah.
I love this scene where they're all standing around a circle and they're talking about protecting Kachan, and Kachan's like, huh?
Yeah, his face is going back and forth. He's got like the yay face going.
That. He's like, wait, what? That's a good face.
He's just like so honest. He's like, why do I need protecting? Which he does. Oh, and then we get straight on to the next fight, which is going to be James's favorite here.
I actually like. I've been playing with my Nendoroid of Toga lately, trying to figure out what I want to shoot with her and whatnot. So, like, watching the scene too, like, I don't know, I'm really enjoying Toga a lot. Also, because of current events in the manga, it's really good. This is like, what a great. I forgot how she is introed in the anime. You know, because this is really like her intro scene. Like, we don't learn her quirk, you know, at all, but we just know her odd obsession with blood, making people bleed, and being really attracted to people who are beat up, bleeding, or also love blood.
Or also very cute. She has like the little kawaii thing going too.
She does have the kawaii thing going too.
Yeah, because she finds Ochako and Robbie very cute.
She does. But yeah, she does. Actually, you're right.
She's like, it's like the ultimate fangirl in all ways possible.
When the scene where, and I know we have this, when Ochako pins her to the ground, but like Toga's still just like talking and like talking really crazily, and like what she's saying, it's just like watching the horror like slowly creep up on Ochako's face. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
It reminds me of Tamura and Deku for that conversation. It's like Ochako's like villain, like her nemesis, kind of like the way it was coming about. Like, you are insane, but you're obsessed with me. This was really, really good too, because Froppy was trying her hardest, and that had to hurt.
When this happened, I remember also grabbing my mouth, and I'm like I know what happens when I bite my tongue. I couldn't imagine like a cut across it, especially like a super tongue like this that's like always outside and exposed to the air. It's just like, no. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah,
for Sue.
Yeah, she's like, oh, what a cute nickname, and she's like so excited about it. You have to think like, well, you probably know like Toga's in high school, so she has that high school mentality. So, and in her crazed mind, she thinks she's making friends. She's making two new friends.
So cute, like, and Froppy's like, only people that I want to be friends with are allowed to call me that. She's like, perfect. I'll call you that. We're gonna be best friends. This is gonna be great.
She's like jumping up and down, so excited. She's adorable in her own way.
Fucking psychotic is what she is. James, you're a madman.
Oh. Yeah.
Just reading this stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to like catch up.
Yep. Yeah, Dan, she uses her whole tongue with the whole time with the gash on it. I like how even when she's gonna like launch those guys like a little sky bullet of children, she was like, give me a second. I gotta brace myself for this because things aren't going well in here.
Yeah. Like, wait. At least they were light, because like, and she's got her mouth all like.
Yeah. Imagine if like she cut like the tip of her tongue off or something like that.
Like shoji thing. Ugh. That'd be crazy. This whole fight though like shows you how much more well equipped Froppy is at certain points, because she's so quick on her feet, but they don't know what to do right now.
I love that. Like whenever they're training, they're like, Froppy doesn't need to really train anything because she's already kind of at peak of everything, and she's just really well with it. Like she knows exactly how to use her abilities and everything like that. But yeah, she's just kind of like taken off guard because it's hard. It doesn't matter how well trained you are when you're facing down someone this psychotic, right? It kind of keeps you off your toes. You don't know what to do. But
this is right after she pins Froppy to the tree, and she's gonna cut her again. And then Ochako just comes out of like nowhere. This is how fast though Toga is too, because Ochako is pretty well equipped to fight now, and she still like barely did not get her. It's like just remembering the whole gunhead like martial arts and everything else about the knife, which I didn't realize watching this back now is that's why the knife fight, they actually did a whole thing on that. Is probably for the Toga fight scenes later.
Oh, totally. Yeah, because Toga always uses knives. It's kind of her thing. Gunhead martial arts.
And she's like has her pinned, and which I laughed about because I think Toga's just sitting there like talking to her about this whole time about how they're the same. She's like, "Oh, you must like somebody enough to want to be them," and I didn't realize that Toga at this time was talking about Stain, and so that's.
I was wondering who Toga was talking about too until they did the flashback to it because like it's such a brief thing that I forgot since then. The first time I watched it, any other time I've seen it, read it, whatever. It's like when they flash back to him, like, oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot she's obsessed with Stain because we've seen Toga so much more in the anime and manga and whatnot than we've ever gotten Stain. So you kind of forgot that she's introduced from being just like a giant Stain fangirl.
And I realize it's probably because he was so beat up during that video from having the fight with all of them that it kind of started that whole entire spark.
Totally. But also his whole thing with blood. Like she likes people who also love blood.
There's like a whole monologue on this, and like Ochako gets easily read by everybody except for the person that she obviously likes. So it's just like...
I love, well, not easily read by everybody. 2 people specifically.
Well, Froppy's got it down too.
Yeah, Froppy's got it. Well, Froppy's always around her. Froppy's like her best friend.
And she thinks it's like a girl chat this whole time. They're like,
I love how horrified Ochako is about it.
Let's just realize that these villains are just insane. And then she starts like flips the needle around and starts like
she jams it into her leg.
Yeah.
She because she's pinned down, but while she's basically taking Ochako off guard everywhere with what she's saying, she has her whole left hand because she only has her right arm pinned against her back. So she has her left hand where she grabbed one of her needles and just jammed it into her leg. Wait, what is
from Hey Arnold?
What does this mean, Mariana? I thought she was talking about someone else. Was it the fact that she was talking about her crush being Stain? Because they flash to Stain during this when she says it. I would like
she doesn't have her other crush till later.
Yeah.
No.
Well, it starts at the end of the scene, really.
Yeah. Like right after this part when they jump apart. And leave it to Toga to be smart and be like, oh, there's more people. I might die. I'm going to run.
Yep. I like that, like, self-preservation that a lot of the League of Villains have. These underlings of the League of Villains. They're like, no. If we live to fight another day, we'll be better, stronger. We'll be more prepared kind of thing.
Yeah. It goes back to, like, Tamura's level up kind of thing.
Yep.
So for that, but I like that this is her romanticized version of somebody. Like when you have a crush on someone, it's his like completely.
It's when he's a backpack.
Yeah, he's like completely beat up and startled because something's going on that they need help with, and totally just that's her romantic version of somebody. Oh,
so creepy. I forget who her. Oh wait, I think I'll have to think about it. I remember her backstory, but that was also a while ago in the manga. But it should be this upcoming season, starting in March, hopefully, towards the end of it.
You'll have to put it in the group chat.
Yep, and they're talking about protecting Bakugo. And they're all looking around. They're like, "You're protecting Bakugo?
Where is he?" The music that came on during this part too, I was like, "Oh." There's a next.
Oh, yeah. I was like, "Wait, what? Is my sound bar on? What's going on?" I'm like, no, it's part of the screen crap.
And then the next slide I put in there just because I think it's the next one because I call him the magician all the time.
Well, I mean, he is like a practical magician, and I love Mr. Compress. I'm waiting desperately. I think a Nendo of Mr. Compress will be the most adorable freaking thing.
I think the Figma would be better because he's just so tall and everything.
I want that too, but I love his mask, and I really just want like a chibi version of that mask, like with a little tiny top hat or something. But yeah, no, I want figures of him for sure. But I like building up my Nendo League of Villains.
Yeah, because like they have Toga and the Dobby's going to come out, so they should have twice Mr. Compress. I don't want Spinner. They can skip him.
No, you can skip Spinner. I want Spinner. Get the hell out of here. What I don't need is the guys from something else.
Mariana says she thought that Bakugo ran away at first, which could have been easily the same thing.
Oh yeah, totally. I totally would have thought that as well. It's just like, I'm out of here, guys. I'm gonna go fight them on my own.
Yeah, and this again, like he was like Deku was like ready to like pass out, and then all of a sudden Bakugo is gone again, and then he just turns into like a crazed human being. Oh. This is when Dobby is leaving the other side because they realize that Mr. Compress said, "Hey, I got him. I got the target."
Mr. Compress basically steals Tokiyami and Bakugo in his little compress balls, and leads the rest of the guys on the chase after him. And then as he's running away, he signals to the rest of the Vanguard Action Squad that he has their main objective. So everybody retreat pretty much.
Yeah, and which you'd find out that Momo, when she made all the gas masks, left Oyama in charge of the other kids that are all passed out and needing help. And
you're not doing great, Oyama. You're doing terrible.
Leave him alone. Like I would be scared of some guy with half flesh on his face too.
I know. It's really funny. It's like, he hasn't got built up his confidence yet.
No. Which is funny to say about him anyways. And then like I think the next one is like he locks eyes with Dobby and he's like, "Oh my god."
But then I believe Twice stops him to talk about the Nomu, who I totally forgot that they had a Nomu with them.
Like loose in the forest. Like
loose in the forest that has like Dobby has complete and utter control over it, which is crazy that Shigaraki gave Dobby the control, even though when Dobby and Shigaraki first met, they were going to like murder each other within like a second. Maybe that's like what endeared him to Shigaraki. Who knows?
It's mutual respect because you would think he would give it to one of the stronger ones that were there, like the muscle guy or someone of them. Yeah. But I think he knows that Dobby's like level-headed and calm.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to give it to Toga because she's insane.
You mentioned Twice.
Yeah, definitely. Of anybody, maybe Mr. Compress.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Not Twice. Twice and Toga are their like two crazy little, I don't know.
They're perfect.
Yeah, they are perfect. I agree.
This is the Nomu running, and he melded her skin to himself to be able to drag her through the forest better.
Yep. I felt, yeah.
And he's
I feel bad for this kid because this kid hits that moment where he's like, well, I can't do anything else. I guess I'll die. Like he
just like hugs her and he's like, "Oh my god, this is it."
We're gonna die right now. This is how it's gonna happen. And then he just stops, turns around, walks away.
And then Momo in her like sudden state, she wakes up because she just passes out, and then she's like, "Oh god, Bakugo's taken. I need to do something about this," and then creates something to attach to the Nomo.
Like
in-game thing
of brilliance. Momo literally saves the day.
I like how like the guy melds it to him and then runs behind the tree. He's like, "That was really scary." Just
like he basically slaps his back like, "Good job, man."
Yeah.
Good fight. Oh, goodbye.
Well, after being terrorized in the forest, I guess it would be kind of scary to chase after it after it's like leaving them, but good job on him.
Yep. Close up a Spinner, basically talking about the will of Stain will live again.
Oh yeah, he's just like spouting nonsense at this point in time.
Yeah, he's the Church of Stain, pretty much.
Oh, that's what she says. You didn't even show us your quirk at all. So it's like ridiculous.
He must have like a really lame quirk.
Oh.
Okay, I just like teasing Aoyama, but Mariana's right. Not all the kids are going to be heroes. Some are just going to be support.
I think later on you see he's support for some of the other kids pretty well in the manga and stuff.
He does. Oh yeah, no, he does some great stuff. Even in the latest movie, he's does great. I honestly feel like because we see a lot of them working as teams in this, I really feel like when all these kids become pros, they should form a team. Because like when it's Deku, Shoji, Todoroki, and Tokiyami, like he even says, like, with this team, I think we could even take on All Might. Like we have everything we need. Like we're good. And I'm like, yeah, you team up, you're strong. Solo, maybe not.
Even like this plan right here, this uses all of their strengths at once. Even Deku broken, it's like he's okay.
Mariana asked, like, have we seen his quirk, Spinner? And we were talking about that. I don't
remember it. It's probably in the manga that I read, but I don't pay attention to his characters much.
Unless it was so uneventful and so lame.
Maybe it's good driving, because that's all I remember him never doing.
He is the driver. But yeah, it must have something to do with the fact that he's a lizard, right? Like
I don't know. He doesn't crawl anywhere. He just kind of whines. Is whining a quirk?
He's not Zenitsu. Come on. Jeez, you like Zenitsu and yet you're blasting fucking Spinner. Get out of here.
Zenitsu's another story.
Yeah. That is yes, it's true. All right. Anyway. Yeah, so they come up with like they're not getting anywhere fast chasing Mr. Compress. He's like dashing along the treetops somehow. But I do love how Mr. Compress is saying, he's like, the one thing I'm good at is escaping out of things. He's like, I'm an escape artist. It's kind of like my deal.
Dan put a definition in there for the quirk.
Is that actually his quirk?
Appearance quirk only. Poor guy.
But he can stick to walls like a gecko.
Yeah, but how long does that last?
What do you mean, how long does that last? He walk up walls. Spider-Man pretty much has the same powers.
I guess so, but he's on the wiki, so maybe it's true.
Maybe it's true. Maybe I'll believe your Wikipedia.
Yeah, maybe. This was awesome. It was a good line. And Todoroki's like, you must be in so much pain. He's like, I don't feel any pain right now. He's just like
my friend's in danger. Gotta save my friend.
And Shoji's face when they throw him.
They must be like, well, because Ochako hits them with her zero gravity quirk, so they're completely weightless, and then freaking Froppy like discus throws them, or shot put throws them like super freaking far with her tongue. So they're flying through the air. They catch up to Mr. Compress super quick.
He's got Todoroki's hand. Like, I don't even know how he has Deku, because his arms are just like in their little...
I think he's scooping him around. That's what we're seeing, not his belly.
Touch his arms, they come off. I do like that Chaco wrapped his arms in her shirt. Like, he's like, you need some kind of like care before you take off.
That is great. But also, like, I know it's the last slide of this episode that we have, the way how they land. Brilliant.
And then she's supposed to get like 3 people's blood during this thing, was her thing, but she got 1 person's, and she's like, well, I'm not gonna die. And they're like, well, what did you do? And she's like, I made some friends. I found a boy.
I found a boy I'm interested in. So ridiculous. And I believe Twice even like reactions like, oh, is it me?
Yeah. Twice is like, I'm sorry, I can't. This is not okay.
I'm too old.
Yeah.
And then
this is so great.
Love this.
I love that all 3 of them are like taking him down.
It's awesome. And that's it, guys.
That's it.
So, favorite moment of this week, or this episode, not this week.
It's a lot in this one too. I'm trying to think. This is they took out Moonfish in the beginning, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's going to be my favorite part, because that guy was hella scary when I first rewatched this. I was like, oh my god, what are they going to do? And then the boys actually helping Tokiyami right at the end, Deku's plan coming into full effect, was really nice.
Yeah, it's hard to not pick the Moonfish at all. I don't know. I also really like Toga's intro scene, pretty much, of like her battling the girls. Maybe I'll pick Toga.
It's all really good because it's it's a bunch of different chunks of stuff.
This is a great string of episodes in terms of just like stuff happening. The gap between her being a villain and her brain kills me. Yeah, ridiculous. Was it this episode that Toga says bye-bye? I don't remember.
I think that's at the end of the next one because we still have a big old fight coming up.
That's true. Yeah, it's going to start off with a big old fight.
Yeah. Broken Deku.
Deku being a tactician, breaking down what everyone can do individually, then realization of them being strong enough together, take down All Might. I love that. I love whenever he does that. It's like, again, it reminds you of why he is who he is. And yeah. Whatever. I was realizing, you know what it is? All right. Behind the scenes stuff. I ordered food before we got on this live. And it's supposed to arrive at 9:15. And I'm like, I should just check my phone to see if they texted me or anything like that. And I'm like, I don't have my phone on me. It's in the other room. So it's just going to remain a mystery.
It's a good mystery, though.
Yeah, it is. Hopefully, unless it's my ramen has been sitting out on my porch for a while, which would suck. But it's fine. Even when Deku is mangled, he still got that brain. Yes, he does.
We prefer him unmangled, though.
Marginally mangled. Slightly mangled.
Yeah. I'm with Aizawa on this one. I'm like, really? Come on.
I know. Was that this episode or was that the last? No, that was the last one.
Yeah.
I do really like when Aizawa is like, you did it again. Just stop for a second. All right, fine, I'll help you. Like, good teacher Aizawa moment was great.
It works.
I really need to know who leaked this information to the League of Villains. That's what I want to know.
Oh, for the training camp spot.
Because I don't think we've ever learned that.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about it off camera. But and I like that, but like, I do want them to reveal it. I'm like really intrigued by that.
I don't think we're gonna get it for a couple seasons. I think it's like the main boss kind of status.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's going to be a big twist, right? Because it obviously has to be a good guy or someone that we've been led to believe it's a good guy all this time. Unless someone has a quirk, maybe our gecko spinner can turn invisible and he's hanging out inside USJ or not USJ.
It could be that Toga's a student there and no one knows.
That's also true. She can turn into anybody. That happens in this season. Yes, we see it this season, right? Yeah. That's fine. Not big spoiler.
Oh, sorry.
No. Again, this is a rewatch. This is not a. I mean, please, if you're watching it the first time, I hope you don't hate us. Sad news. Anyone else read that Horikoshi is possibly hinting at MHA ending before volume 50? No.
It's blasphemy.
We're at volume 29, right?
Yeah.
So, okay. I mean,
not too bad.
It's not too bad, but I also just don't want it to ever end, really. But I guess it has to, like, all animes end it, or mangas end at some point. But I kind of wanted to, like, go into the One Piece style, even though I never watched One Piece, but I want to, like, just go for the next 20 years.
Yeah. Is Naruto's manga still going?
Naruto?
Mm-hmm.
Well, kind of, yes. They're following Naruto's son now, Boruto.
No. Well, maybe there you go. It'll end and then go on later on.
Yeah, maybe. That'll be an interesting thing. Dan says it's at 29 now. Kind of feel like there's a ton left to tell. And yeah, but I mean, look at the story. We're at chapter 20, or we're at, volume 29. But chapter 290 something. So if we get to 600 chapters and then he ends it at chapter 600 or something like that, that's like all the story we've gotten now. We get that much more of it. That's still like, that is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being greedy and saying I want double that at least, Yeah. I mean, these past couple chapters. So wait, no, I'm not surprised though. These past couple chapters have been everything in the kitchen sink. Yes, that's also true. Like this whole time, I'm kind of expecting 2 chapters from now it's going to end and just be a surprise, because like what's been happening, it seems like we're getting towards this end game. The only reason why I'm like confirmed, and if you haven't read the manga, I'm not going to say anything, but this is a good time to tune out. There's still like a lot of unexplored story arcs. So that's the only thing that's kind of keeping me thinking that there's a lot more to tell, because we need to know what character B that they introduce is going to do. Character C, like what happens with these people. So there's those like little things that give me hope that there's more, but otherwise they are just like, here's everything. James says, I'd much rather have a story that ends, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I don't want, and I've kind of, funny enough, I've turned around on this personally myself lately. But growing up, I was always like, I love Marvel, I love DC, because these characters have been going on for like 60, 70 years. It's great. They keep going. But also that makes their stories kind of like, yeah, but at the end of the day, Spider-Man's always going to be Spider-Man. Everything will be fine, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I think Tom's camera died. I think so. I think we lost him, which is funny because we're still. I don't know if I should wait. I hope it didn't get like a power outage. Okay, well, I'm going to leave and see if that stops the live. Oh no.
Are we still going?
Oh, maybe.
Are we still going? Was it still recording? Oh my God, it still is. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So my internet just crapped the bed, I guess. So I was like, I guess I got to restart stuff. So sorry, everybody. Food guy muted him. Yeah.
No, there you go. I just got your text.
Yeah. Oh, that's why, because I had to reboot. I was like, so I'm sending text from my computer being like, I don't know what just happened. I just got booted. Yeah. I guess it ended. I don't know. But yeah. I guess we should end it just in case anyway.
Yeah.
And also we're starting to talk in some dangerous territory for like possible spoilers for people. So
that manga group chat is going to be the best place for all that.
Yes, agreed. All right, guys. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll catch you guys next week. The Ramen Monster is signing off.
Yeah.
And we'll catch you everywhere else that we catch you. Thank you, guys.